criminals. They're not a standing army. We're talking about criminals
Tucker,
here.
we lost you, but we got you back now. I mean,
Hey,
Tucker.
I'm sorry about that. Look, can I say one thing, though?
Yeah.
His line about Vietnam. Vietnam actually we had the cooperation, the real cooperation of a lot of foreign troops from Australia, from South Korea, most notably. There were tens of thousands of South Koreans served on our side in South Vietnam, and a lot of them died.
Katusas, yes.
Yeah, we actually, in some ways, had a more significant supporting coalition than we have now in Afghanistan. And the point is, who cares?
And
that was our war. This is our war. It's so important for Obama to have like the Poles and the Croatians on. That is so beside the point. We have to lead or not, but the choice is ours. It's not up to the UN or NATO or any multilateral force. He's always passing the buck because I guess it makes him feel better, or it's just the way university professors think or something, but it's just not adult. It's pathetic.
Those same extremists who are plotting along its border. To abandon this area now and to rely only on efforts against al-Qaeda from a distance would significantly hamper our ability to keep the pressure on al-Qaeda and create an unacceptable risk of additional attacks on our homeland and our allies.
It's a boogeyman effect, man. You got to have a boogeyman, and we got a boogeyman. We got a modern-day boogeyman, and why? And who the hell invented this technique, and how? I don't know if it's a Karl Rove tactic.
No, but wait, hold on now. I mean, look, I think Obama is going to turn out to be a disaster as a president. I really believe that. However, I don't think he's creating a boogeyman here. I really don't. I mean, I don't think he wants to do this.
Well, I don't think he's.
Did you watch last night and say, you know what? He wants to create a false threat.
Hold on, I don't think that he's creating a false effect. He's just keeping the boogeyman theory going. I don't think that he created it by all means. I said whoever created this boogeyman effect, whether it's fight him over here so we don't got to fight him over there. I mean, I don't know who did it. I don't know if it was a Karl Rove tactic, if it was I don't know who the hell did it, but it's continuing the boogeyman effect on.
I think he's also, Bubba, he's hedging his bets because, as Manson pointed out, if there's another terrorist attack and he pulled out of Afghanistan, it's going to be put on his tab. I think he's hedging his bets, but there is no reward here. And also, Tucker, how do you connect the dots into if you win in Afghanistan, that'll have some ripple effect into Pakistan? There's no guarantee of that.
Well, no, it's not. It's the reverse argument. It's that it's not that if you win in Afghanistan, Pakistan will be better. It's that if you give up on Afghanistan and allow it to become completely a seething mess, that Pakistan will suffer. But I do think that there's some evidence that the reverse is true. I mean, you're right in this way. Last time there was a huge war in Afghanistan during the 80s, it drove, and I've seen them personally, it drove hundreds of thousands of Afghans into Pakistan, and they destabilized that country. So it's possible that if you get aggressive with this surge, that itself makes.
If we just get out of the stand business or the everybody else but our country business, if we would just get out of that, I mean, what's the downside? Okay, let's say the worst case scenario is if we get out of there and the country doesn't stabilize and it's a big Kiss concert and pyrotechnics and people are blowing each other up and they go to the market to buy an apple and next thing you know they get their head blown off. I mean, in doing that, Brent, the Taliban are able to organize a little bit and we have a couple little mishaps over here. You know what? 10 or 15 or 20 people die in Brent every couple of years in a modern day Talibanic type terrorist attack, to me, is far less than bankrupting our country to the tune of 12 to 15 to 20 billion dollars a month, and the 4 or 5 or 6 or 10 or 15,000 troops and men and women we may have lost after this is all said and done.
Yep.
Big deal. I mean, us Americans, we're so rednecked and hillbilly up. We got our own arm. I mean, we can defend ourselves against these stupid ass Taliban. Don't bust me up with your turban and your flip flops, you jackass.
I don't know. I think you're right. I mean, look, I'm having a terrible time defending Obama here because I'm of many minds on this. But I will say this. 10 Americans get killed in a domestic terror attack, the cost will be higher than this war in Afghanistan.
Well, I don't know.
And the reason is, yeah, of course, look what happened on 9/11. Do you know just the economic cost of our reaction to 9/11 is, in the trillions. But it's also extracting a toll on American society. Everything becomes less free. We always overreact. We don't put anything in perspective. We don't say, oh, wow, more people died in slip-and-fall shower accidents than died in terror attacks this year. We never say that.
Now, do you really think
we're taking your civil liberties away?
Do you really think the Taliban is really that smart and that the calculated attack on 9/11 which has led, everybody now will say, okay, well, it's led to our financial ruin, it's led to our economic shutdown, it's led to A, B, C, and D. Do you really think that they had all that planned, or do you think that it's just kind of all conveniently gone into place based on our knee-jerk reaction of immediately going over there and being, in their backyard, and, the economic downturn has a lot to do with that. But, I mean, also, Brent, no economy is going to survive when you're spending that kind of money per month with people abroad. I mean, do you really think that they're really that calculated and smart, or they kind of got lucky by our own stupidity?
I think you're exactly right. I think it turned out better than they could have ever hoped.
It doesn't matter because we're in this predicament. But at the end of the day, man, I think we give them way too much credit, Tucker.
We may, but I don't think that we fully appreciate what a big deal it is if they were to attack again. I'm serious. I mean, it just on the civil liberties question alone. I mean, you fly.
Manson, go ahead.
All of that is a hangover from 9/11. You become less free every time we get it. Look. If terrorists showed up at the Mall of America with a shotgun and killed 8 people, this country would be on lockdown.
Well, that's what I want to know is how is this war in Afghanistan stopping that? I could go take an AK-47 and shoot up a mall and kill 80 people tomorrow. Why aren't they doing that right now?
Right.
How is the war in Afghanistan stopping that?
Anybody at any time can have that act of terrorism.
Look, it happened at Fort Hood on an army base secured by military police.
When are we going to stop?
Right.
When are we going to stop making these things that just happen in life and giving the Taliban all the credit for all the bad things that happen in life, giving them the boogeyman effect, and just say, you know what, that sort of stuff happens when you have this many millions of people living together, and it's just the cost of being in life, my friend. And you know what,
because Americans can't deal with risk. That's why. I mean, this is a country that has banned cigarette smoking in public because the fumes might hurt you. I mean, do you know what I mean? This is a country that has basically zero acceptance of risk. We're about to pass a health care plan that's based on the idea you should have to assume no risk in your life, none. Mommy's going to take care of it.
I wanted you to get into that because I actually had an email that said, Tucker.
No, they are related, though, Bubba. They
hold
are
on.
related. This health care bill is for people who are afraid of life.
I know, but hold on. I've had several emails of people that love you on the show, that you're no nonsense, that you say it like it is, and that, a lot of times you can get me to understand even the simplest stuff. So, you're used to talking to dummying down your opinions so that my dumb ass can understand them. So can you, in a very dummied down way, not hang up on me? Jesus. I was going to have, because I am guilty of not having read any of it, not paid attention to none of it. I know that I have health insurance, very good health insurance. I know that every one of us here has health insurance. So I don't think, Manson, I think we're probably guilty of really not really paying much attention to it.
I think you're 100% right.
It's so convoluted. I've tried to understand it.
Most Americans like us that work for, decent-sized companies or smaller companies like ours that have health insurance provided, we don't necessarily, until it really affects us. Now, I probably should pay more attention to it because I'm the guy that pays for our health insurance, and I wouldn't want our, it's $11,000 a month for me to keep everybody here insured. And if my premium now goes to $18,000 a month, that could definitely affect things, and it could probably then cause some people here not to have health insurance.
I think that's a real possibility.
Now, if that's what's going to happen, then I need to start paying more attention. If Tucker can explain it to me, if we can get him back on the phone, if he can explain it to me what the current health care reform bill entails, maybe I'll be able to understand it more. But because I think I'm guilty, as the most Americans are, my health insurance at this juncture has not changed. Manson's is not going to change, so I really don't care. I mean, I really don't care how it votes either way, for it, against it, until it might possibly affect mine.
Yeah, and I've always had health insurance through my job, or when I didn't, I bought my own.
Right.